Hey everyone, I'm Melanie from Streamlined Legal, where we help law firms get the most out of their practice management software. Tonight we're talking about flat fees. Now, I have this very experience of being an attorney who charged flat fees, and sometimes it wasn't easy to figure out whether or not my flat fee was high enough, or if it was appropriate, or if it was better yet, covering my costs and maybe giving me some profit. So I know that's something that a lot of people struggle with. And, there's plenty of attorneys out there that maybe once a year, when they're doing, an overview of their finances for the year, take a look and see, okay, we did this many flat fee cases and this is how much we made. And, hopefully they're comparing that to how much they spent in labor. But it depends on how good your bookkeeping is as to how often you're doing that. Hopefully you're doing that maybe once a month. Hopefully you have a really great bookkeeper that's giving you those kind of reports. But I know that as a small business owner, and especially if you're doing hourly cases with your flat fee cases, it can be a challenge sometimes to figure out whether or not that flat fee is covering the costs that you're putting out in labor. So I went ahead and started thinking about how we can determine that. And so there is a very easy way to do that within Clio. Now, of course, the more challenging way to do it is at the end of the case, because I think it would be really excellent if we could collect this information at the end of every case to see if we came out ahead or if we came out behind. Because, of course, not every flat fee case is going to make money. We hope that they all do, and we hope that we're positioning ourselves so that they all give us a profit. But that's not 100% of the time. So if we could check this after every case, I think that would be very, very helpful so that we could start seeing trends. Are we charging enough before we get to the end of the month or before we get to the end of the year? And so, of course, without practice management software, this is still something we're very capable of doing. We could take the hours. Now, of course, this means we have to track our hours. We could take the hours that we spent on these flat fee matters, put them in a spreadsheet, multiply them by everybody's rate, whoever worked on this case, get the total amount, add it all up, compare that to the fee that we charged. Now, of course, I'm not saying, there aren't other things to take into consideration, such as overhead and things like that, but it does give you a nice indicator of where you are. And so we could do that in a spreadsheet. However, if you're using Clio or other practice management software may accommodate this as well, we can do that from right within Clio itself, and it gives us a very quick and easy indicator at the end of every case. And so I do encourage you, when you're charging these flat fees, to go back and look at that. So let's head over to Clio and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So here we've got our case, and this is Joe Smith's bankruptcy. And I went ahead and we did track our time on this matter. So we're going to go ahead and look at that under activities. And we'll see that we had a meeting, we prepared the filing with the attachments for this bankruptcy, we talked to the client. We did agree to charge Joe a $3,500 flat fee. So that's in here as a billable amount, is $3,500. But you'll see that by default, when you have a flat fee or contingency matter in Clio, Clio will track the time that you're tracking. It'll automatically make it non-billable. Now you can change this in settings if you're interested, so let me know if you need help with that. But if you are trying to do this calculation, this is a fantastic way to do it. So Clio tracks your non-billable time, and it's calculating it based upon that user's rate. And at the end, it's going to add it all up for us and show us that we spent approximately $1,600 on this case. If it was an hourly case, that's how much we would be billing this guy. However, we have a flat fee, and so we did collect $3,500. So it's approximately 50% is what we charged on this, 50% more. So that's fantastic. That's great to know. Now, in the alternative, if I had done the same thing and it had come out above $3,500, obviously that's a red flag. That's something we need to know. Or if it had come out at $3,250, maybe that's too close for comfort for us. So what I would encourage you to do, if you've been using Clio for any amount of time, or if you've been tracking your time in Clio, I would go ahead on these flat fee matters. I would go ahead and encourage you to go back and look at the last 3, 4, 5, 10 cases that you've had and look at that comparison. And in fact, what you might want to do is create a spreadsheet and show, with each case, how close were we? And we might be able to plot that or track that so that we can see how close these flat fees are actually getting to where we want to be. I'd encourage you to do that again with every case. It's a super easy calculation if you're using Clio or another practice management software that it does the same thing. And it gives you the numbers right away. You can compare them immediately. It doesn't take very much work at all. And that way you get that indicator far before you get that monthly report from your bookkeeper or long before you get that yearly report when doing your finances at the end of the year. So please do take a look, and I hope that's helpful for you guys. Let's keep these flat fees as reasonable as possible and make sure that we're covering the services that we're providing to our clients and giving them the value that they deserve. Have a great evening. Thanks for joining me.